that a few times. I had Jessica in some of her talks.
Yeah.
Did she ever take that?
Yeah.
She goes, 3 to 4.
Yeah.
Doctor comes out. Stop right there. What are you going to do to me? Well, I just want to make sure you know. I am fine, thank you, perfectly fine, and I don't need to go in there. And one time she's, is that a wide angle lens?
It's wide enough. No, I'm just screwing
One
with
time she's sitting on Lori's lap, and Marty and I had gone out with client Marty. The kids had stayed, her kids had stayed, you know.
Right.
So Jessica's sitting on her lap, and I said, so the kids have a good time? Lori said, yes. Just one of them. Boss, Jessica.
How's it going?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Doing well.
Dude, after studying birthination, I think I better check that out the door, man.
What's that? Chuck what?
I gotta turn into like Stanley Donen mode.
Okay.
No more birth for a while.
Yeah, dude.
Not until I get through the textbook, man.
Okay, fair enough.
Powerhouse through the textbook, and then I'll go back to birth.
That makes sense.
It'll make a lot more sense that way, don't you think?
Yes.
That way I'll have better tools equipped.
The tools and the talent. You should find my old man.
Okay.
Leave that, I'll watch it.
I wonder if he's backstage.
Might be.
Okay.
I never dated anybody. Well, yeah, one girl. I dated one girl for a year.
Yeah.
Is your dad backstage?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Right through there.
Right through the store? Private? Which one? Left or right?
Straight.
Straight?
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how's it going in here? How you guys all doing?
Good.
Preparing?
You know, yeah. You know what?
Am I interrupting
No,
something?
you're not. As a matter of fact, I would like you to do something for me, Ken.
Oh, absolutely. Anything you ask.
What I want with him to do is I want you to, Kenny, I just want you to say how you feeling, Marty, about tonight.
Okay.
And I'm just going to tell you how I feel, and I'm going to tell you I'm scared to death.
All right.
We're just going to talk, and what I want you to do is I want you to be surprised, and I want just because this is going to be that first part that we put out there, and I am going to try to go to the studio tomorrow too and shoot it, but I'm also going to have this as well. Okay.
Back up.
Well, no, it's not. I don't know that it's going to be a backup. I don't know which is going to be better, and I think that I blew it. I was supposed to be there yesterday, and I wrote that I was supposed to be
You
there
know what
today.
they said? They
What?
said you'll be fine tomorrow. They just want you to have the true nervousness to show.
Right.
And this is a way to capture it.
It is. It is.
Exactly.
I will eliminate your nerves by channeling them into myself.
No, I want the nerves right now.
Oh, you need the nerves to go
You want
a little
the
bit?
nervousness to show.
So on
Oh, you
three,
need to fear. Be not afraid.
be not afraid. But that is part of the way we're marketing this, is to let people know this is an apprehensive thing for me.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I'm going to be talking to Kenny over there. So however you want to shoot it, you can move while we're talking. But
Okay.
so Kenny,
Sure.
whenever he's ready.
So, you ready? You rolling? So bro, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm feeling every bit of it. This is nerve wracking. It's Kenny, you know me for a long time, and you've known me. You've seen me, use self-deprecating humor about my being fat, and I'm getting ready to go out there again and do it tonight, big time. But what the audience doesn't know is that this is really it's a cathartic experience for me, because I've realized that the only way that I'm ever going to get to the body I want to, I've lost a lot of weight, I used to weigh 660, but I've lost like 340, 50, 60 pounds, and the only way I'm going to get down to what I want to be is I'm going to have to give up the fat jokes. And honestly, that really scares me.
Yeah, well, it should scare you a little bit, but you're going to do it. I have every confidence in you that you'll do it, but I think the audience is in for a treat tonight.
Well, you know, they're mostly on drugs, so we have that going for us. But I had that, it was in the contract. You couldn't come unless you did some lines of cocaine. But I do know that if we, it's really a message I want to get across to people, though. It's not just to me. It's for people to really understand that the words they say about themselves, even kidding, can keep them in a prison. And today I kind of feel, you know that great Bob Dylan song, I Shall Be Released? Yeah. I love that song, and this morning in my little Facebook thing I wrote, I modified it a little bit. And I said, I've seen the light come shining from the west into the east. And I said, because it's today, it's today, I shall be released. I'm going to get myself out of that prison today, and that's why I'm doing this. It's just, but I've never done this before, you know, starting a stand-up comedy career at 57 years old, that's right. But you know what? I just feel that, I honestly feel that God's led me to this point, that I'm supposed to do this, that this is what my life is about, and it's kind of weird, but I feel that way. But I really believe that.
Well, your life has been all about losing weight. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And I knew you when you were a mere 380 pounds.
Yeah, but I got better. I got up to
That's true.
660, and
I like your analogy of the East and West. I was thinking of that biblical scripture of how my love is as great as the East is from the West. That's about how big you are, too.
yeah, that's true. I have that covered. You know, I've been known to be in 2 time zones at one time. You know, that's a problem. If they say, "What time is it?" I say, "What? The left or the right?" You know, what are we talking about? If I have a watch on each hand, they're different time zones. So you know, it's something I have to work through. But you know, I think that we have something to share with people.
I know you do. This is the real thing for you, and I know how important this is for you, and I know how scared. I don't know if "scared" is the right word. How apprehensive, maybe anxious. Anxious is the right word that you are. But I happen to know just I know the inner you, and I know that what's inside it is going to make this work.
Well, you know, if God's inside me and it's done to entertain people and to make people see something good, I'm excited about that. And you know, I've learned a long time ago that when you get in front of any audience, that if you're trying to do something to make it about you, then it's the wrong message. It's not going to do it. But if you really want to do something that blesses the people around you, then I think it's cool. What do you think? Am I nuts?
I don't think you're nuts.
You don't?
I think you're pretty brilliant.
Do you?
Yep.
Okay, I'll give you that $20. You said you told me if you said the word brilliant.
Save that clip.
Yeah, I did.
I'll give you that.
You are.
This whole thing's going down in history for sure.
Well, I don't know what it's history, but it's exciting. I actually pulled my guitar up today. I was almost going to sing a song tonight, but I'm going to do it the next time. I'm going to.
Is this your guitar?
That's my guitar.
I don't know. I didn't know you played the guitar.
Yeah, I play the guitar.
Do you want to do a little
I've never
picking?
seen you
Huh?
play the
Do you
guitar.
want to do a little backstage picking?
Yeah, I'll do some backstage picking.
That'd be kind of
I
cool.
might kiss you before, because I may not get to kiss
Okay,
you.
but you're going to
I
come
love
up
you.
after it's done. When I come back here, you're going to go back up front and you're going to.
That's a nice guitar.
What you're going to say is.
I've actually played it a little bit.
Like what we've been through. This isn't about me, it's about what our family. And so you're going to speak for the family and say that this was a comedy show tonight, but it was really more than that. And he's going to come out and explain it to you. And I just want to thank you for coming here and helping him get through this tough time tonight. You do that? Okay. I was going to try to, this was a song I wrote, and I was going to try to make it funny by putting some different lyrics to it. Do I have my pick in it? I don't. Well, my boat set to sail on Saturday. I got a lot of things to say, talking about my yesterdays. That's why I wanted to see you tonight. Well, I met you in an urban fairy tale. You are the Princess Carbondale, but I gotta go when my ship sails. That's why I wanted to see you tonight. I've survived the storm. Oops, is that wrong? I've survived the storm or two because of you. I drifted, lost, I forget the thing, lost on a sea. to change that to something about, something about wanting to go to a fast food restaurant tonight. So I'm going to figure that out later.
Wow, I like that. I
It's
like
a fun
that.
song.
I like
I
it
wrote
very
that a
much.
long time ago, and then I couldn't play the guitar anymore because it was like this on me.
I like it. I like the beat to it. I like your voice. This is a surprise to me, and I've known you since the mid '80s. I didn't know you could. I really mean
I
that.
stopped playing the guitar about that time because I was so aware of my stomach. And I literally, then when I got to be, the guitar was out here, I couldn't play the guitar. So one of the things I'm loving
It's
about
like
losing.
a piece, a missing piece to the puzzle, to me. That explains your love of music, and remember the video I did for you?
Yeah, I do.
With basically it was the prequel to the Titans.
Yeah.
It was.
It was.
That's all the music and everything, and
Yeah.
there's a scene in the Titans that's like, hey, that's Marty's team.
Anyway.
That was awesome.
Thank
I
you.
really like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was a good one. Here, I'll
Yeah,
put that away
thanks.
for
How
you.
old is that guitar?
That my uncle gave me that guitar. He's going to be here tonight. I had performed my aunt's funeral, which was not fun to do, and he came to me and he said, "You play the guitar, don't you?" And I said, "I haven't for a while, but I want to get back into it." And he says, "I got this old guitar. It's not worth anything. It's just an old guitar, but I'd like you to have it." And he had been going down to Colorado Springs and listening to this guy who.
It's a Gretsch.
It's a Gretsch. It's a 1920s Gretsch. It's worth like $3,000. But when I found out, I said, "Uncle Gene, Joe, you need to take this back." And he says, "No, I'm never going to use it." But what it was he wanted to learn how to play jazz guitar. And he bought the guitar, and the guy that sold him the guitar said, you need to get an electric pickup on it, which I'm glad he didn't because it would have ruined the value of the guitar. But he put electric strings on it. So he couldn't get any sound out of it. It really played really hard, It wasn't made to have the sound. So when I took it to a guy in Grand Junction, and I said, he said, "Well, the only thing that's wrong with this guitar is the strings." And he just put some new strings on it, and he said, "That's really a pretty nice guitar." And I had no idea. And he said, "Yeah." And he said he looked it up in his book, and the wholesale value of it then was about $3,000.
The technology now, you can put a hookup. Well, I'm going to do that to my guitar
Are you?
too, because I bought my guitar in 1969. I've had it for 40 years,
Yeah.
and I never put a pickup on it because of that reason. But the technology is such now, you can do it and basically not even impact the sound whatsoever.
Really? Would it affect the value of the guitar if you do that?
It depends. It depends. If you were to drill a hole in it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But you don't have to do that with this new technology.
No.
Because I'd like to do that. I'd like
No,
to have a pickup on that.
you do not. They have pickups that attach that
Okay.
do not have to. It isn't perfect tune. Did you tune it?
Well, I did with a tuner. I don't have great tuning ability. I just
Yeah,
use
but that's really that's.
it's
What-
D-tuned. It's
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, it's D-tuned. I like the D-tuned. It plays pretty easy. See, I can't do that. I've tried to do harmonics, and I just, it's fat fingers. When I get done with my fat fingers, there's two things I want to do. I really want to take guitar lessons when I get really thin to understand the complexities of guitar. And what I understood, if you really want to be a good guitar player, understanding trigonometry is important, and I don't understand math at all. But there's the idea that, the guy that sits there and plays the chord up here knows that down here it's this, down here it's this, and this is the strings that go with it. And, the ability for somebody to play lead guitar based on knowing what the rhythm section is playing. That's the understanding I have of guitar. And then I really would like to have somebody that just teaches me how to play songs like some James Taylor songs, just for the joy of just playing it,
Start out easy with James Taylor.
Well, I actually had a guy in New York that I recorded an album, I produced an album, I executive produced an album. I was doing this thing to try to help stop school violence, and there were some amazing musicians in Ithaca, New York, and these guys, they didn't get charts or anything. I just said, for example, I wanted Eric Clapton's song. It's a great song.
Cocaine. Tulsa Time.
No, it was later on in his career when he was. It was.
No Cheers.
It was about, I want to change the world.
Oh.
Great song. Well, this guy, I give him the guitar and I say, I say, "Would you play this one?" He comes back and he plays 4 different guitars and he plays every single note just perfectly. When I was living in San Clemente, one of my favorite albums. In fact, I can remember sitting in the when I was playing. I was teaching Your Two Daughters on Sunday morning Bible class, and there was a song that I thought had a spiritual meaning, and it was Robbie Robertson's song.
The Weight.
No, it wasn't The Weight. It was the one that Robbie Robertson had his album Alone. It was Low Down at Big Sky, and it was just a very cool. And this guy took this record and there's one thing on here I just can't understand what it is. And then he called me up and he says, "You're going to be excited tomorrow. I figured it out." And I came back the next day and sure enough, it's just got this beautiful 60s kind of riff in it. And I go, "What was it?" He said, "I recorded it and then played it backwards." He literally figured that out, that what he had to do was record it backwards and then play it backwards. That was the recording. And the guy was that good.
It must have been.
He was amazing. And, he was a guy, this is what gets me. In Ithaca, New York, and I'm sure this is true everywhere, I just got into that group of people there. In Ithaca, New York, there was tons of people that had been formerly in bands, but now we're not in bands. But these guys and gals were some of the best musicians, and you look at them and you go, "Why aren't you winning a Grammy every year? Why aren't you, you're phenomenal. Why aren't you in studios doing studio guitar work?" Because he's not that good. And I'm going, what? I could pay that guy, if you were rich, you could pay that guy to come and teach you guitar. He could teach you any number of songs and never have a chart or a chord. He would just say, "Here's how you do this," and he could sound like. I had him do. He did James Taylor stuff for me. We did "Shower the People." He did that perfectly. He did the Eric Clapton song. He did. Had another guy, brought in a guy from Nashville to play the piano on Bruce Hornsby's song that the Eagles did.
The Eagle.
Age of the Innocence. The end of the innocence.
End of the Innocence.
And we did
Don Henley.
Don Henley. We did Marvin Gaye in What's Going On. And we did, the old Stephen Stills, For What It's Worth. And it was just a compilation. And I had women and guys singing. And they did a great version of a song that I love, which is "Walking in Memphis." And getting that guitar, that
Marty Crowe walking in Denver really had a bad night. Were you here when that happened?
No, I wasn't. I was living in Grand Junction when that happened. But that was kind of, I felt, well, gee, Mark, we really want you to come back to Denver sometime.
He had a really good attitude about that.
I know he did. I really noted that. That reminded me, what it reminded me of, you might remember this, was in L.A. right after the first of the year, Jimmy Rogers was mugged in Los Angeles. Remember Jimmy Rogers?
Yeah, Jimmy Rogers, way back in the 60s.
Way back in the
50s,
60s.
late 60s.
Late 50s, early 60s, and then he had a hit that came out in about 1960s. Honeycomb. Yeah. And it was right. Yeah.
Honeycomb.
And he got nailed, and he never did come back. It really ruined him.
Wow.
But it made me think of that with Mark Cohn.
Don Henley. Did I tell you about the song he did? You may have heard it, called "Month of Sundays." That's a really deep song.
Oh, he is amazing.
It's got, he is amazing. His ability to paint pictures with his words is just phenomenal.
Did you hear the new Eagles album that they only sold at Walmart?
No.
That was a phenomenal album.
Somebody was opened the door.
That was a phenomenal album. Come on in. Lou? It was a phenomenal album. It was really great. We had some good groups when we were growing up, didn't we?
Well, yeah, but what gets me, what's firing my juices, because that really is, for me, music for me is the passion that comedy is for you.
Well, music is
but
really
music is obviously.
It really is. Comedy is something. It's like the guy who can play baseball, but he'd rather be a musician. I don't. We're going to find out tonight whether I can do comedy, but I would love to be a musician. I think there's nothing more wonderful than a singer-songwriter. That to me is the epitome. The guy or the gal that can write the words and then can perform the words. And that doesn't take anything away from song stylists. They're great too. But to me, but we grew up in that era. We grew up in the 1960s when you had everybody from Bob Dylan to, Paul Simon and, James Taylor, and then all the great writers, this Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and then all the women writers that came out of that, Judy Collins, and there's some awesome female writers that my son introduced me. Oh, Joni Mitchell. But this is why I'm glad, and you've experienced the same thing because you've had kids growing up in different generations. So
they have rediscovered. They've actually rediscovered
Dad,
classic rock.
I have a question for you about the microphones.
Do I have to come up there? Yes. Hi.
Hey, sorry to bother you.
No.
They need to know that now there's 2 mics on the stage, so they just need to know are you going to have somebody on stage with you?
No.
Is one for Isaac and one for you?
No, I don't think so. I think the reason they have 2 is there's an announcer who's going to be announcing everything, and he's going to be off stage, come on and introduce, and then he's going to leave.
Okay. So you just wanted to know for the cameras?
Not for that isn't necessary. Just he's going to come off. He's going to introduce everybody.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're going to be surprised at my Stevie B tonight when he introduces the thing. He's quite an impersonator, and he's going to introduce me in the voice. I asked him to introduce me in somebody's voice, and he's going to do that.
Well, it's like I recognize, I'm no gifted singer, that's for sure, but I really have a passion for writing music.
Yeah.
So my challenge is to get my songs before people who can sing them the way I envision them. We had a thing. In fact, I'm in charge of that. Let me tell you something. We had a praise him and song night that they put me in charge of, and we do that on our family nights once a month. And we did it in February. I was in charge of it, and I started planning for it in November, lining up people, and I had. What I did was I ended up getting a couple of people from our praise team to do my songs.
Cool.
And we had the guitars on stage. I mean, our church goes that far on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody knows about it. So if you don't want, if it's offensive, don't come. But we had record numbers. They had an all-time high attendance for that. Well, they put me in charge for praising the song night too. And that's gonna be Wednesday, October 7th.
Cool.
And I'm lining up the talent for that. I would love if you would consider. I would love for you to consider performing that evening.
You mean singing?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know what I would sing, but I'll try. If you'll work with me to.
Sure, I will.
Sure, I'll do that.
Sure, I will.
Be glad
If you have the time to do it.
I think I'll have the time to do that.
But that's Wednesday, October 7th.
Okay.
I'll send you an email.
Send me an email
about it. But I'm just now putting together. I mean, it usually we have dinner. And it's usually like either hamburgers or pizza or something like that that's prepared by one of the home churches for everybody at 6. The program starts at 7 and it's over about 8.
Cool.
And it moves just like this. And we got a very professional sound system and a stage and all that good stuff. And you accompanied with PowerPoint.
Can I see, darling? Are you telling her this? What are you telling her with that? We're giving it her this? You're giving her this right now?
$10 for Jay for the meals. We're all taking the meals.
I thought, yeah.
Everyone's chipping in.
Okay, I'll chip in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need your email address and stuff out there. Yeah, give it to Jill. Give $10 to Jill, and then Savannah's going to do all the prepared dinners, and we're going to put a ton of meals in the freezer. So when she gets home,
Cool.
they just pop them in,
Okay.
and nobody has to cook.
Hi. Hi. Hi, Heidi.
Are they in there? Are they naked?
No, I don't do that. It's against my religion.
How are you feeling?
I'm absolutely numb. Cocaine's a wonderful thing. It just keeps you, happy. And
I will blackmail you with this footage.
you don't have to.
forever.
I have no
kidding.
real shame. I don't really care. I don't have an image that I need to uphold. When I go into restaurants, I say I want water with no lemon because I have a reputation to uphold.
That's right. Extra ice.
That would be healthy. Are you staying for the whole show?
I'm gonna watch it.
I'm sorry. Good.
Okay. Do you need anything?
No, dear, I'm
You're okay
excited.
with water
Everything
and-
is fine. This is wonderful. And we actually sold about 100 tickets, and we had about 100 we gave away. So we did pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
We really did pretty good. So I feel pretty good about
What
it.
is this footage for?
This is footage for, this is a young man, he's a graduate of the USC Film School.
Okay.
And he is doing I'm going to go, from here I'm going to go on down, and I'm going to continue to lose my weight and chart it as I go. So he's going to be kind of in the audience, just kind of grabbing some shots here and there. and making sure that we have footage to compile as I continue to lose my weight. That won't be this DVD we're doing now. This one is going to be a DVD, or it'll probably just be a download. I haven't talked to the guys yet on the internet, marketing of it. It'll probably be primarily just an internet download. Because that's what people do these days.
It's so true.
It is just, why pay for the shipping and handling and you can have it right like that. Yep. But they told me that once I begin to sell it, you pre-sell it for at least 2 months. Because the minute you release it, it's on YouTube like that.
Yep.
And so by the time the 2 months come, you have another show ready to go. So I think I'm going to like this tonight. We'll see. I don't know. Yeah? I can tell you this. I didn't have near the time I had planned. Come in! Come in! Come in! Hello? Did you open the door for me?
Did you get spray tan?
No, I didn't. I've been working on it. Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking for Marty.
Yeah, he's in here. Come on.
Hi.
Hi, Alicia. How are you?
Yeah.
How's my hair look?
It looks good.
You're lying to me. She's going to fix my hair.
God bless America.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get.
God bless America.
So, do you do many shows like this? Do many people do things this stupid?
Yeah.
Do you do? So,
We do, well, not a lot, but I would say
once a month?
since we've been open, which was October of last year, I've done 3 or 4.
Really? Because if I can do
Good
this,
theater.
I'm going to do. This is a great theater.
Yeah.
There's no comparison. So this is the one we'll do it with. But I'm hoping that we can develop a kind of following and
Keep it going.
keep it going.
Sit still.
I'm sitting still. She's fixing my hairs.
Give him a faux hawk.
A faux hawk. What is
Make
that?
him a vlog.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
We're gonna make you look good, Marty.
Yeah, that's a joke.
It's not a joke.
Anyway, we brought a check for you. We'll give you one tonight before we leave.
Fine.
Thank you
I'm
for
running
everything.
fine, too.
Yeah, I'm not. That's one thing. I don't hide very well.
Are you nervous?
She-
Are you nervous?
He's behind that pole.
yeah, right. He's behind that pole. No, he is that pole. There's Isaac.
Hey, Isaac. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
You've seen him before.
What's up, Shotty? Your hair looks good.
Yeah, I do comedy works downtown in here.
Oh,
I
really?
perform at both. Yeah.
Do you need new talent and stuff like that?
Yeah. Yeah, I do that. So.
And he's in the roundup for you're in the semifinals or what is it? Tell him what you were doing.
Yeah, the semifinals of the vacation.
Did you get a straightener?
Yeah.
It looks good.
Thank you.
I like it.
Cool. Sweet. We're just doing sound checks and stuff right now. We're trying to get that music to the back. We're having issues, so we're running out of this. But that's not for you to worry about. So.
Okay. So we'll talk right before we go up.
Yep.
We'll come back here and I'll
Give him
know
a phone
what
call.
cues I give you and
Yep.
you take care of it from there.
Sounds good.
Buddy.
I'll be in the sound booth.
Love you.
Okay.
But you'll come back here after you do this.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about the cue and then when Steve introduces me, I'll go up and then you go.
No way.
What?
Are you really? A faux hawk, yeah.
What are you doing to me?
He's hot.
What is happening to me? Can he help me?
Isaac, love you long time.
What happened to me?
I like it that way. Yeah.
I mean,
You do look hot, doesn't he? Thank you.
I don't know. This was it was like a gourmet pizza. So I know you're a gourmet.
I'm a gourmet.
So knock yourself out.
Testing.
How you enjoying your pizza there, buddy?
good, Mom.
Beer and pizza?
We had 2 in our inventory. Oh, that's my brother. This is my brother Hi, Jenny.
Marty Crowe. Coolest. And now, your host for this evening, the very best announcer we could possibly afford. He is the greatest announcer of all time. Here he is. Please welcome to the stage, the none other than Stevie B. Thank you very much. How are you? I don't know, that announcer, man, he was great, wasn't he? Unbelievable. I've been announced by people before, but I'll tell you, this guy, unreal. There's a couple of announcements that I need to make. And the first one is, oh, hi. I see people here that I didn't know were coming. Very good. I'm scared to death now, I'll see you. Anyway, there's a couple announcements I need to make. First of all, if you need a drink, nobody's going to be waiting on your table. You have to go to the bar. And I know that at least a lot of you are Catholics, so you know where that is. Secondly, I think there's a Catholic section around here, as I understand. Secondly, if you're walking down the back aisle here, that's fine, but don't stop in front of the camera, because that'll mess up the whole deal. We'll have to start the taping over. You got it, pal. I walk out, and I've got two notes waiting for me from my darling wife, Darlene. The first one said, honey, this is the outfit you will wear tonight. I feel like the comedic version of Johnny Cash. The second note she gave me, and I love her to death. I've known her since I was 14. I've loved her forever, and I will love her till the day I die. But the note she gave me spooked me out to no end. It said, honey, I love you so much. I hope you do great tonight. But I want you to know one thing. If you do anything on that stage to embarrass anybody in this family, including our daughters, including our grandkids, my mother, or most importantly myself, you will never, ever, ever get lucky again. Do not sing. Do not attempt any comedy, because this is Marty Crowe's evening. And do not do any of your stupid impersonations. All of which I do very well, by the way. But it's not going to be as bad as you think. Because Darlene, my wife, and I are both over 60 years old. So for me, and for her, a lucky night, is to go to our beautiful house, in our beautiful boudoir. That's French, by the way, just so you know. And to lay down and cuddle up. I get control of the clicker, and I watch ESPN. A very lucky night is that she gets control of the clicker, which she usually has, and she picks out a very great movie for us to watch and cuddle up together, and she's very capable of that. An extremely lucky night for me is that we can also share some popcorn and a Diet Coke. I'm going to miss that popcorn. I'm in trouble when I get home. I'm going to get my butt kicked so bad. Anyway, thanks for being with us tonight. We are going to bring someone to the stage right now He is a regular here at the Comedy Works. And he basically told me today that he is hilarious. The reason I know that is because I only met him 2 or 3 hours ago, and he told me, Steve, actually said, Mr. B. He said, Steve, I am hilarious. So I said, okay, that's good for me. Now, what do you want me to say about you? He said, well, I'm 5'1". I said, all right, that's good. He says, you know, anything funny to say about somebody that's 5'1"? I said, really, I don't. I mean, it sounds god-awful to me. And he said, well, I also weighed about 200 pounds just a few years ago. I said, well, then there it is. You were taller laying down, you were standing up. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring to the stage the adorable little munchkin and his comedy stylings. Here is Isaac Camargo.
What up? How's everybody doing?
Harry here, all the way from Cubs Park, Chicago, Illinois. Hey, this Marty Crowe guy, he was one of the worst catchers the Cubs organization ever had. Holy cow, the guy weighed 660 pounds. He couldn't hit a lick. He couldn't throw farther than his elbow. And his running, he made it from home to first in 4 minutes flat. But I'm telling you one thing, this guy was a Hall of Fame home plate blocker. Nobody could get by this guy. I mean, these guys would slide, they'd try to get around him. The outfielders could walk the ball in and tag the guys out before they could find the plate. Holy cow, I'll tell you what, we finally had to trade him though, and we traded him to the San Francisco Giants for the Pillsbury Doughboy and a dozen Krispy Kremes to be named later. Coming to the stage, my buddy, my pal, the guy you came to see, here he is, the home run hitter, Marty Crowe.
Is this on? Well, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I just have one question. I'm getting ready to get started. Did anybody bring a sandwich? Because I'm hungry. I've been working all day on this, and I just thought that I needed to get something to, get me through the evening. I really appreciate you being here tonight. No, thanks. Did I do something to this? Anyway. I want to take this opportunity to really welcome you all here. Thank you for being here. It's really an honor for me for you to be here. This is a special night for my wife and my children and my family and my parole officer. We're all very happy that you were able to come and be with us tonight, and he let me take the ankle bracelet off for just the evening, so that's a good thing. I wanted to begin by saying, wasn't Stevie B great? I mean, give him a hand. And I want to thank Stevie B for that. He's a good buddy of mine. And I also want to take this opportunity to thank Mr. Isaac Camargo and Jeremy Frisch. I got to tell you that really the reason I'm here is because I talked to Jeremy about an idea I had a few months ago. I said, Jeremy, I'd like to meet you. I want to talk to you about this idea I've got. And he said, well, okay. And I said, can we get together? And he said, will you feed me? And I said, well, okay, I'll do that. So we got together and we talked. And I said, I got this idea. I want to do a comedy show. And I told him the idea of what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it. And he said, that sounds pretty good. That sounds like that could be fun. And that could be exciting. I think we could really do that. That really sounds awesome. And then he said something. And he really had the opportunity right then and there to stop me. He could have said, the stupidest idea I've ever heard, Marty, but he didn't do that. He encouraged me. In fact, he took it a step further. He actually said, I think it would be easy. Isaac lied. This is not easy. This is something that I've never done before. And I want you to know, because it is something I've never done before, that I've come to some conclusions right now about this very event tonight. I'm thanking you for being here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting, but it's not going to be easy. And I want you to know that I've come to the conclusion that this is probably the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. It's got to be the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life, because I'm 57 years old. And I decided, 57 years old, that maybe I ought to start a new career. Maybe I ought to do something called stand-up comedy. I don't even like to stand up. I don't understand about this thing. I used to weigh 660 pounds. I needed hydraulic lifts to get out of a chair. I'm just getting used to this idea of standing in one place. And now I'm trying to make this a career choice. It's not a good move. So I think this really is the stupidest thing I've ever done in my life. Although my children disagree, I voted for Nixon. So they said it's probably the stupidest thing. My wife doesn't think this is the stupidest thing I've ever done. She thinks it was that time that I sold all my clothes because I thought spandex would be a good choice for me. And it wasn't really good. The police came and said, stay home. We don't need this kind of stuff in our neighborhood, and we will shoot you. Honest to God, we'll shoot you. So I stayed home, and I went ahead and got some other clothes. And but this has got to be in that top level of the stupidest things I've ever done. And even though it's stupid, I'm going to go ahead and do it. We're going to have some fun, and it's going to be exciting, and that's all good. But we're just going to move forward. And as I move forward with this, I think about this, and it's not just that it's kind of stupid. It's a little scary. It's a little scary. You know what I mean? And you're all looking at me and saying, this guy's never done a little thing in his life. Okay, it's a lot scary, okay? It's like my burritos. They're big, and that's what this is. This is a burrito scary moment for me. And, scary is something we've all got to overcome. And I think that we're all about the same. We fear the same kinds of things, don't we? I mean, I'm afraid of spiders and snakes, right? Are you afraid of those? Right, and vegetables? Right now I feel like I'm standing in a room watching a bunch of tarantulas chow down on a bunch of Brussels sprouts on a bed of rattlesnakes, and I'm scared to death, okay? It's driving me nuts. So please, stand back a little bit while we get through this. But you have to overcome those fears, don't you? Fears are what you face. You overcome them. You're okay when you overcome them, right? I remember when I was 10 years old, living right here in Littleton, Colorado. It used to be called South Glen. I don't know what they call it now, but I lived there when we had this nice house with a single car garage, and my dad had his boat in there. And I remember walking in, and there in the corner, I saw the most evil thing you've ever seen in your life. A black widow spider that was little, but it was big to me, and I was really terrified. And this black widow spider was mocking me, and it was taunting me, and it was daring me to do something to this black widow spider. And the black widow didn't have a clue that I was prepared. He didn't know that I'd studied. I was reading Batman comics, and I knew how to fight evil. Well, if you've read Batman comics, you know what to do. Here's a black widow spider. I'm going to take him out. I looked down to my utility belt. Oh, I didn't have a utility belt. But I had a utility garage, okay? And in this garage, I said, I'm going to find the one thing that destroys all evil villains, all black widows. I'm going to destroy them. And I looked around the garage, and I saw, oh, looky, a can of gas. And I picked the can of gas up, and I opened the top up, and I threw it all over the spider. And then after I did that, I lit a match, and I threw it at and all of a sudden, and then I had this thought. Why is my house on fire? And it was, and I would love to tell you I knew how to put it out. I was 10 years old. I didn't know how to handle it. My 7-year-old brother walked in, took a look at it, and said, "You're really stupid." And he put the fire out, but the fire got put out. The house wasn't burned down. But I got to tell you that the whole process really made me understand that there are certain things at which I confess that I am clueless. Now, just because you're clueless doesn't mean that's a bad thing. You see, it's all in how you go about being clueless. You know what I mean? For example, if I wanted to kill a spider, that wasn't clueless. It was maybe how I went at it. If I tried to kill the spider, let's say, I don't know, with a tuna fish sandwich, I think that's not got any class to it. but I killed the spider by blowing up my house. And I thought, I may be clueless, but I make clueless look good. That's what I love it, so. And thank you. I think clueless is an important thing. And I want you to know that our history is filled with people who've been clueless. And in fact, if we didn't have clueless people, we wouldn't have the United States of America. We wouldn't. We wouldn't at all. How many of you people remember Patrick Henry? Remember Patrick Henry? He was in Virginia. I don't mean you dated him. I mean, you have the history books, okay? Patrick Henry was a guy in history, and Patrick Henry, he made that famous speech in the Virginia Assembly. He stood up in front of everybody, and he said, "As for me and my family, give us liberty. Give me liberty or what? Give me death." Right. And all the other clueless people around there said, yeah, give me liberty or give me death. But the normal people, they were sitting around going, are there any other options to this? Why do we meet at Bennigan's? And let's talk about this. How about something like, give me liberty, or how about a rash? I just think that I can handle that. But death is really permanent, and I don't know that I want to do that. But if he hadn't done that, we wouldn't have people that stood up and did the things that they did. And so it isn't a bad deal to be clueless. You just got to make it look good. And that's my goal, is being clueless and making it look good. Guys, the greatest things in the world have been done by clueless people. Thomas Edison tried to make the light bulb. How many times? 3,000, 4,000? How many times do you think his wife looked at him and said, "Can't we get a candle? Why don't you just start this already? I mean, you're wasting all this money and time." But he didn't. He kept doing it. We got the light bulbs. And so you need those clueless people to keep moving us forward. And if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have anything that's really worth having. So it isn't a bad thing to be clueless. I must admit, though, that okay. Nobody's got a sandwich yet. Okay, when you get one, let me know. I've texted Domino's, but they're not here yet. But anyway, I want you to know that perhaps I am most clueless when it comes to my weight. It's just I've always kind of not really known what to do about it. Most people, they're supposed to be about 200 pounds, and they get up to, let's say, 250. And I found that what most people do is they go on a diet, and I don't understand that, because you got so many more pounds to go, before you really have to get serious about it. But before I really, get mad at myself there, I want you to know I really am a weight loss success story. I am. Some people are going, "Oh, that's sick," because I'm looking at him, and if that's success, then we're in trouble. Well, I used to weigh 660 pounds, and I feel good right now because there's things that I can do that I just couldn't do before when I weighed 660 pounds. Like walk. Those are important things. I love the fact that I can go to a theater and sit in a seat. That's a big thing for me. I like to go to car rental agencies and say, "I want to rent a car." And they say, "What kind of car do you want?" I said, "The littlest one you've got." I do. And they say, "You cheapskate. We'll give you a bigger car." And I said, "You moron, I can fit in your little car, give it to me." I go to restaurants and they say, do you want a table or do you want a booth? I want the littlest booth you've got. Let me squeeze in there, And I actually find booths that are actually tight to me, which I never would have sat in before, because when you're 660 pounds, you don't want anything touching you. Because, you figure that if you can sit at a table where it's not touching you, you're not really fat. So you just need a big table. That's how it is. And that's how I shop for my clothes. It was my wife of 35 years, and I think you ought to give my wife a hand. Can I say that for 27 of those 35 years, I weighed over 550 pounds. And nobody signed up for that. It's a hunk of burning love. But I can honestly say that she stuck it out with me, and one of the first things that happened when I was in the pre-300 stage, I would go shopping, and when I would go shopping, I would try clothes on, and they wouldn't fit, and I would get very mad at her for taking me to this silly clothes store that made such cheap clothes that they wouldn't fit. It made no sense. And so she finally realized that the only way she could go get clothes for me was to go by herself. And she'd come back. I would wear these clothes until I couldn't wear them anymore. And then after I would get rid of the clothes, because she'd go shopping and she'd come back and she'd say, try these on. And I go, these fit great, these are wonderful. And I said, I told you I wasn't getting fatter, but of course she was getting bigger and bigger sizes. She cut the little X's out of them. It was very strange because I didn't know there were X's in clothes, you know. I thought that was dirty movies. And all of a sudden, I had the dirtiest movie clothes you ever saw in your life. I had 3X, 4X, 5X, 6X. We went to 9 and 10X. And they finally, at the place that I lived when I was weighing 660 pounds, said, don't come back. Because we don't make them your size. And who does? And I said, go to the Army. They've got tents, and we'll put sleeves in them for you. But if you don't like khaki, you're really in trouble. And I said, I don't like khaki. And said, oh, you're really in trouble. And so it was really a disgusting thing to be in that stage, but my wife was there for me throughout it. She was there for me without any doubt. She gave me great support and, always loved me through it. My kids were there for me through all of this. And we've talked a lot about it. My kids said that I didn't embarrass them, and I think that's nice of them. But there were times that I would do some things at their school. I would show up at their schools, and they were like an elementary school, and principals would come up to me and say, excuse me, sir, are you human? That hurt, because I said, yes, I'm human, and that's my child. And they said, oh, it can't be, they're adopted, aren't they? And I said, well, I don't think so. And they said, well, I think you really better check it out, because the real issue here is you're scaring the kids. Stay away. And I was. So it was a real tough time to grow through for my whole family. And so tonight, that's why this is a special time, because I've lost, as of now, about 360 pounds. And so, thank you very much. And I'm still moving towards that goal of weighing somewhere between 180 and 170 pounds. See, I don't even think in terms of weight as goals, because that's boring. It's really boring. My goal is I want to get to the John F. Kennedy administration of my life is what I'm shooting for. Because the last time I weighed about 175 pounds, John F. Kennedy was president of the United States. And I was in 5th grade, and I was fat. But anyway, that's not the point. I'm working on getting to that skinny person, and when I'm an adult and I get to that weight, then I will go around and quote John F. Kennedy and say I'm living in that era all the time. I'll learn how to talk in Hyannisport. I will do the whole thing. I'll get a sailboat and I'll play football on the lawn, because that's what I'll do to prove that I really was from that era. So I'm excited about what's happening in my life right now, because it's a change of my life. How many of you like change in your life? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we all like change in our life. And for me, the idea of change is something that really makes us the kind of people that we want to be. And with that in mind, I want you to know that there's been a lot of fun things that have been going on with me. And the fun things that have been going on with me is I've been learning new technologies. And I'm very technological. I really am. I'm good at, I can make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm learning technology, and one of the things that's exciting for me right now is these new phones. How many of you got these new phones? You know what I'm talking about? These phones? I got this phone. Now this is a BlackBerry or a Blueberry or strawberry. It's something that's berry in it. And this phone does more things than I've ever heard of in my life. This phone, I can get email. I can get a BlackBerry Messenger. I can take your picture. I can take a movie of you. I can get texts. The only problem is the only thing I know how to do is answer the phone. And that works pretty good for me. I've done some texting, though, with my son, who, when I first started texting, he was better at texting than I am. And I had this other kind of phone that you had to push a bunch of times to get to the letter you want, you know what I mean? Just a bunch of times. And so he would write me a sentence, and I would come back with 2 letters, usually spelled wrong. And then I got a phone like this. And he didn't know I'd gotten a phone like this, and all of a sudden, he sends me this little sentence, and I'm sending him a paragraph. Boom. And he goes, "Who are you and where's my father?" But then he really started messing me up. He started doing this acronym thing. You know how you do in text? You do acronyms, you know? And he said something that was funny, and then he said, LOL. And I'm going, lol? But that's not a word. What do you mean, lol? You know, you said a funny joke, and lol. And I said, You graduated from college, you have a master's degree, you give me all? What was that education about? And he says, Dad, it means laugh out loud. And I said, oh, okay. They give me a whole bunch of others that I don't remember. And I thought, you know what? We need to have something that more relates to people my age, you know? You know what I mean? Something that I can relate to. Like think of this one. So I sent him this one back, and he acted like he didn't know what it meant. I said, HIFAICGU. He said, Dad, that's way too long. What in the world does that mean? It says, help, I've fallen and I can't get up. And you need to help me here. And he said, it's way too long. You can't do that anymore. So I sent him a text back. I said, all I said was F you. And he said, Dad, what in the world does that mean? I said, I finally understand. What's she talking about? Just leave me alone. So that's what I did, and I'm learning how to use these things, and I'm going to get good at this, because this is the future of the world, you know. My first computer that I bought in 1995 was huge and couldn't do anything that this thing can do, you know. But again, for me, it's an extremely good instrument for answering the phone and a great paperweight, because that's about the technology that I understand with this thing, and I understand it pretty well, and I'm getting better at it, but I have a long way to go. How many of you kind of struggle with that technology thing? Do any of you? Okay, how about this? Facebook. Yeah? Facebook. You know, I'm 57 years old, and I have a Facebook account. I have a MySpace account. I Twitter. Yeah. I'm LinkedIn. I do all these things, and I have not a clue what it is all about. Nothing at all. I just have them. I've got 600 friends on Facebook. Don't know one of them. I don't, you know, they just send you this thing, you want to be my friend? You know, I thought we were joining the Cub Scouts together. I didn't get what this was about. I said, no, I don't want to be your friend. Then they said, no, you got to be friends with me. I got all these friends. And now I open up my thing, I got a long list of people telling me about their aardvarks and heat, and I don't know anything about any of these people, but I'm sitting there trying to get, you know, a part of it. Now, there is a situation that's kind of a challenge as a big guy, and I'm still not little by any means, but my wife went, too. Anyway, it's, let me say that on Facebook, they do a thing called they tag you in pictures. You know, again, I think it's a little game. Tag you're it. But I didn't know that what happens is when you show somebody a picture and you tag somebody's name, then the whole world knows that they're in a picture. You know, like that's groundbreaking. I don't get the whole deal of this. But when you're my size, they say, tag Marty in a picture. Tag Marty's thigh in a picture. Tag Marty's hip in a picture. And he's got the biggest head I've ever seen in my life. We tag that too. So I'm tagged all over the place this way. It was kind of cool though. I found out this week that my feet actually have their own space on MySpace, or on Facebook. And which was kind of cool because I haven't seen my feet for a long time. And think about that, you know, never mind. I hadn't seen my feet in a long time, and I asked them to be my friends, and they're going to get back to me. I haven't heard yet for sure. But I'm learning these things, and I'm trying to keep up, trying to be cool. I don't know, I'm trying to be cool. Look at my hair. I love, where's Alicia? Alicia's here. Alicia came and fixed my hair tonight. She's a lovely hairdresser. She's marvelous. I said, would you come fix my hair? And I thought blow dryers and scrub brushes and stuff, and she just says, and my wife goes, I love it! My daughter just laughed at me. I knew this was a good thing. Alicia is trying to get me into the 21st century. In fact, most people would be really happy to get me in the last half of the 20th century when it comes to hairstyles, and I was very glad that she could do this for me. Now here's the key thing though. Alicia, you have to move